Hey everybody, Justin. Welcome YouTube. Welcome into the office today. I'm on day four, or part four of our Christian life series. Hey, it's been a few days, really. I've been kind of in the dumps. I just haven't felt like sitting down and recording a video, and I apologize for that. But let me tell you this. What is the point of this series? Well, number one, the point is doctrine matters, and it truly matters. I don't know what I would do with doctrine. I've been down. I mean, really, kind of this coronavirus is really heavy on me. I see people just abusing each other online and being extremely hateful. My kids are depressed because they can't get to school. They're missing people. We're not made for just virtual, life. We're made to interact face to face with people, and that's I can't imagine how hard it is for many out there who don't have the family at home and or a roommate even or somebody. The loneliness there. And I read an article just today about how cell phone companies are just overwhelmed with the bandwidth they have to provide now for physical calls. Like everyone texts now, everyone's online, but with the lack of being able to see each other in person, people have been actually using the phone to call people now, like dial numbers. It's like back in the day. I don't know if some of you guys on the YouTube are much younger than me, and you don't realize that people used to use phones to call people. They would dial a number and they would just seek out to call somebody, talk to them on the phone. And that's a profound theological concept. Actually, is calling, and that's part four. Last time we talked about how there's this plan of salvation. There is a plan, and we don't see it because of our sin. That's where we're broken. And it mirrors. That was part two, but part three is that God reveals to us there is a plan, and we're going to talk about how in the rest of the series about what are the details of that plan. What's the Christian life founded upon? Well, the first thing you got to think about as you're thinking about the plan is how we begin to experience it as believers. Well, it begins with calling. Like I said, it's hard to imagine, but people used to call people, and your phone would ring. Now it's just junk calls that you ignore. I'm serious. Like almost 99 out of 100 calls I get are just random numbers. I have no idea who they are, and they're just, your warranty for your car that you don't even know anymore is up. But hey, it would be a call from a person who wanted to talk to you, like who actually didn't want to like scam you for something or take your money or trick you into buying anything or somebody looking for money from you for a bill. It was a friend on the other end, a call from a friend. And when we looked at the last verse we read in Romans 8, and it talked about how we've been called according to his purpose. And like, what is that purpose? Well, in 1 Corinthians 1:2, it says that we're called to be saints. We have a image that we're supposed to fit into, a purpose. And God's calling everyone everywhere to this purpose. He's made us in his image, but the problem is we can't hear it. We've got our phones silenced. We're not listening. We're ignoring it. We think it's junk, and we can't hear it. There's a sense in which the Bible talks about a general call. Everyone's called, but then there's another sense in which, as we mentioned in 1 Corinthians 1:2 and Romans 8:28, that believers have received an effectual call. Like they're able to hear God's voice and understand, oh, this God I used to be suspicious of, just like a junk call. Oh, he loves me. He's the great inviter. Think of God as the great inviter. I'm one of these people who's always trying to get social events together, and this corona thing is killing me. And that involves calling, texting. Sometimes I just get like ghosted though. When you send out an invitation, like there's no response. I'm like, how strange is that we do get invites or calls from those and we don't even respond. Like we have responded because we've been drawn by his insuppressible, inexpressible, and just incomprehensible grace To know a God like that, to know the God who made us, and He calls us, and we've heard it. If you the kind of the key is this calling changes everything. You know, it's like Lazarus in the Bible in John 11 was sitting in a tomb, wrapped up in grave clothes, dead as a doornail for several days, and his friend Jesus approaches him and says to the tomb, "Hey, Lazarus, come out!" And all of a sudden, here comes Lazarus stumbling out, looking like a mummy, because what was previously dead and unable to hear was made alive by the calling. That's an effectual calling. It affects the purpose that God has. And so God's purpose for you involves a calling in which you're made to hear Him. And He delineates your purpose, which is to be a saint. That's a calling worth living. And I just don't know how you'd make it. I really don't know. Doctrine matters. I don't know how you make it in life without a clear calling of what you're to do, a plan. And it's like, it's what I love about when I was just listening. I was watching the only sports on TV in the last few months here, which is the NFL draft. And what really is amazing about that show is that you see these young guys who have worked so hard and want this so bad, and then when they get the call, they all get a call on the cell phone and they pick it up and it's, hey, it's Jerry Jones from the Cowboys, or it's John Gruden from the Raiders, and then on television your name is read out loud for the whole world to see. Oh, formerly an unemployed former college student, played a little ball in college. Now you, sir, are a professional quarterback. It gives you clear job description, understanding of what I am now, and we're all looking for that identity. If we don't have a clear calling, it is hard. Well, no matter what your job is, what your vocation is, your calling is to glorify God. Some of you haven't heard it yet, but the good news is, if you're starting to hear it, if you're listening in from wherever you are, you can ask the Lord to help you to know, and He will. Because that's a sign that you're feeling the call already. You're knowing this God used to be suspicious of. Now you're starting to see Him as the great inviter, as the great Father in heaven who loves His people and chooses us, not because we're worthy. We haven't worked hard enough for this at all. We don't measure up, but He calls us because He loves us. He's chosen you. He's called you. He decides to pick up the phone and dial you. And He doesn't just do that to everybody. All right. So tune in again next time for more about this plan of salvation. Hey, it matters. As you're listless, as you're hurting, as you've lost things, if there's no calling, if there's no Father who's directing it, it's purposeless. Doctrine matters. Let's dig in together. All right, it's been a joy doing these things with you. We'll get into part 5 next time. Enjoy it. Hey, there's going to be several boxes flick up here on your screen. Hit the subscribe, mash the like, thumbs up it, and comment, please. I want to know what you think. If you disagree, let me know. But hey, I feel like I'm standing on pretty solid ground here. This is not new. This is not something I just came up with. People have been reading the Bible for thousands of years and have agreed on this. And I'm not just reinventing the wheel here. I'm reading it for myself, and I'm reading what other people have said, and this is it. This is the truth. Calling. Effectual calling. That's the beginning from our perspective. All right. Hope that helps. Y'all be good. Be healthy. Get some rest. Treat your mind right. Get some exercise. And gosh darn it, study the Bible. It's worth studying. There's no more impactful book. And doctrine matters. Okay. God bless you guys. Take care.